Hello, Dense MC here with another Charlie's Angels summary and review. Broadcast on September 28, 1977, Pretty Angels All in a Row is the 5th episode of the 2nd season. The Angels are hired to find out who are terrorizing a beauty pageant and why. With multiple contestants dropping out and a kidnapped judge, the last thing the Angels need is an overly helpful but ineffective contest host getting in their way. This episode features Jack Knight as enthusiastic contest organizer Ben Paul, Burton Gilliam as amiable villain henchman Ulmer, Richard Kelton as blonde henchman Hubie, and Patricia Barry as beauty judge Millicent. Also in this episode is Danuta playing former winner Candy, Don Starr as the villainous CJ, and Bobby Mitchell as one of the contestants, Grace. She was one of the nurses in the first season's Terror on Ward 1. Interesting scene of the episode is the kidnapping of the judge. She catches an elevator and the two goons slip in to flank her. The judge's nervous expression says everything before they've even opened their mouths to offer her a bribe. Interesting quote of the episode comes at the very end when asked who would have won between the Angels. Chris says she would have, meaning Kelly, while at the same time Kelly responds with, she would've, meaning Chris. We all know they're friends and never would be portrayed as having bigger egos over one another, but it's still nice to see it affirmed here. Interesting fashion choice of the episode goes to the unnamed background waitress at the convention center where the pageant is being held. I'd almost swear the Charlie's Angels writers have never seen a real waitress before, as this is the third example of one wearing gentleman's club level costuming in a public venue. The episode begins with the Angels being a little flippant about taking a case where minor beauty pageant contestants are being scared away by what seems like pranks. Kelly and Chris lose a coin toss and become undercover contestants, while Sabrina and Boz pose as filmmakers documenting the pageant. In order to get the overly enthusiastic host and client off their back, they give him a code name, a code word, and an emergency phone number to call when prompted. Sort of like deputizing a child on a police ride-along. Interesting thing I noticed, despite being a minor pageant being held in the middle of Iowa, there is an English contestant among the Americans, and the previous winner was German. Perpetrated by two southern accented goons, two more near-deadly pranks scares the remaining contestants, except for Grace, who makes veiled threats towards Chris. Later, Grace's pushy agent approaches Sabrina and Boz for special attention and becomes rude when they rebuff him. While this is meant to cast suspicion upon Grace, one of the judges is kidnapped and the replacement judge is bribed, again by the southern thugs. Sabrina, trying to catch up to the arriving replacement judge, hides in the car of the bribing thugs and is whisked away to their hideout. However slow-talking and amiable they may be, they're not stupid and soon discover Sabrina and imprison her with the beauty judge. It's at this point the plot is revealed. The Texas contestant's father is going above and beyond to get her wish granted, to be a beauty queen. He doesn't want anyone actually hurt and commands the thugs to release the kidnapped judge. After the contest, of course. Chris and Kelly become quite competitive, and here they shine doing their talent show acts. It's a bit of a time waster as we see the other contestants first, like baton whirling and a full country song. Chris does a magic show in classic tuxedo tails and fishnets, using doves that tripped up Boz when he tried to run after one of the goons earlier. Kelly does a jazzy ballet number that is clearly inspired by Bob Fosse dances. She is once again wearing her black leotard and tights. She previously wore them for sneaking around in the first season's Angels at Sea. It is a bit hard to see Kelly's performance as the stage is equally dark as her outfit. When the goons realize the kidnapped judge is rich, they abandon their leader's orders to set her free and hold her, and Sabrina, for ransom instead. In order to get the word out to paying parties, Sabrina suggests to the thugs to use a code word. The same code word that spurs the host to action, calling the police on them. Sadly, once both plots are foiled, the Texas contestant is disqualified. I'm not sure she was even in on the plan. And the participating Angels are told they wouldn't have won anyway, being revealed to the judges as private investigators. The title is based on the 1968 novel and 1971 film adaptation, Pretty Maids All in a Row. However, they have nothing in common as far as I'm concerned. Maids was all about a male high school student's awkward erections and his coach being a serial killer of female students. This is a silly episode, and it knows it. Not entirely a full comedy episode or parody of beauty contests, this one stands as a lighthearted entry in the series. You'll either see and enjoy the bright spots in the show or skip this one without worry. The Angels as beauty contestants, the other watchable lovely ladies, fun villain henchmen and their employer, who only wants to please his daughter, equals a bloodless yet curious show. IMDb gave this episode a 7.0 out of 10, and I'll agree with that. It's barely an average episode. Good morning, Charlie.